Quickly, I was challenged by a student to show him how I would write good code. Now, in full disclosure, I've written this in advance, but I did it in about the same amount of time that you have, and so this is going to be for the keypad and the 7-segment display. I'm going to start down here with something that I'm going to call this. I'm going to call it void init 7seg out. I'm not going to send anything to it or get anything from it. I'm specifically going to connect it to P1dir, and I'm just going to do a straight equals. Why? Because we don't need to worry about messing with any of the other pins. We're going to control them all. Set all 8 pins as output. Okay, P1 out or is equal to 0x00. This is interesting. They're active low. Set all outputs low, LEDs on for system test. I'm going to do a system test at initialization. Okay, and then we're going to do a delay cycles. Now, if you wanted to, you could have this, instead of being a void, we could pass a character to it, but I'm not going to. That's a delay for system test. P1 out equals 0xff. Set all outputs high to turn off LEDs. Okay, and that's pretty much it for that sucker. I can't think of anything else. The only other thing that we want to do is, of course, make a prototype for it. I'm going to put it up there. There. Done. The other thing I'm going to do is, that's going to be one of the first things that I do. Okay. So that one is done. We've just initialized all of our outputs. Let's initialize the keypad. The keypad is just a little bit different. We've got some splitting of this, and so, but once again, void init keypad. I'm going to try to do camel case. Okay. P2 SEL is equal to 0. Okay. Disable all lasting P2 SEL remnants. Okay, P2 SEL2 is going to equal the same thing. What next? P2 dir. Once again, I'm going to do just straight equals. Why? Because I'm going to control the whole register. I don't have to worry about any other device taking care of it. Set upper here instead of okay. P2 REN. I want to enable the lower 4 polling resistors. Okay. What else do we want to do? Well, the next one, sorry, I'm to copy paste mode. But the whole point here is we want to set we're going to set all 8. Why? Because we have 4 polling resistors, and then we want them to be active low, so we have to cycle through those. But what that does for us is something rather nice, and it finishes us off, I think. Since we're controlling the whole register, I'm just using straight equals. There's our prototype. By the way, just in case you didn't know, I'm using Notepad++ for this instead. It does nice indentation and everything else. Okay, so those are going to initialize both of those in there. And this is where we want to start displaying stuff. Let's do our display vector. Let me look at what I've got here. Yeah. I'm going to try to do it exactly like I have here. Int send 7 seg value char. So we're going to want to send something to this one, which is the input value. Okay. And I'm going to say seg values is equal to. Now, I'm just going to paste this in, and I'm not even sure if these are right because I'm just kind of going off of old history. But these were the values that I had for those in order 0 through F. Okay? I'm not going to comment anything on that one. I'm just going to say those are the segment values. I'm going to do something interesting next. I'm going to say if input, here's what we're going to say. Input value, the one that's passed through it, is greater than or equal to 0. Oops, wanted that here. And why Boolean? Well, because input value less than 16. So in other words, I wanted 0 through 15 value for that to work. And so then I'm going to say P1 out is equal to seg values input value. Okay, so that's going to set it exactly. There's one other thing that we could add to this. Let's add one more thing to this, which is going to be just an int. Okay, in fact, I don't even like that that's a char. I'm going to make that an int. We're going to make one thing, and it's just going to be the DP val. Okay, if DP val P1 out or equals bit 7. We're going to do an else P1 out and equals tilde. There. And the reason why I'm doing this is in case we have that decimal point that we want to mess with. And that's it. So, and let me see. Originally I have an int that's in here. So return 1. Why am I returning a 1? Well, return 1. I guess I've got to have this in here for this. So hold it. So I'm returning a 1 there. Ooh, does it not auto indent? It may not auto indent. If DP value, maybe it's having to recognize this. So whatever reason. Okay. Return 1. If I get out of that. Okay, this is error check. This is, did you send it a correct value or not? You can ignore that or not. And so we're going to copy that. And the only thing that we're going to change about this is you don't put those prototypes in there. Okay. You guys aren't going to like me on this, but I'm running out of time. But the main point was you wanted to know what good code looked like. Okay, get keypad value. So I just pasted this in from before. Maybe I'll finish this up on a later video. But we have the output val, the send bits. So this is 1, 2, 3. So this is a 2 by 2 array. We have a few counters. This is by far the most complicated one. It's returning an int, but not taking anything in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through all 4 of these k counters, and we're going to first of all clear the upper 4 bits. Why? Because otherwise this isn't going to work. But then we're going to do P2 out or equals with those upper 4 bits. So we're going to set these. If you don't get this, then it'll eventually all just turn into 1s after your first round. In fact, after your first 1, it'll turn all into 4s. we have this return mask is equal to 0x01, and that's for this. We're going to go through 4 different options for this. And what's going to end up happening is we're going to do if p2in and the inverse of the return mask, so right now it's 0001, okay? And so that's going to invert all those bits. It's going to be 11111110, okay? It's going to mask that off. And if that's not true, it's going to return the value that I have stored in here, okay? Just going to return that straight. If not, then what it's going to do is it's going to bit shift this value by 1, which is going to give us 0010. Invert it, mask it, not it. If it's true, it's going to return this. If it gets all the way through, I'm going to return 0xFFFF. So in other words, this is a 2D array, K counter and R counter, and I may have these backwards, and there may be a whole bunch of other stuff wrong, by the way, but the point of this is to have really good code. But that's the entire point. We're going to make our prototype for this guy now. We're almost there. Okay, so that one's ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a volatile int pad val. Keypad val is equal to. Okay. And then you can say if keypad val is not equal to, oops, wrong one, not equal to 0xFFFF, that means we've gotten in there, and we can send keypad val, and then no decimal point. That's it. Or I forget, I might have that inverted from the code. You guys can comment in the video's comments. Anyways, that's what I've got for right now. Hope you enjoyed it. I've got to get a class.